You know that feeling, right? There's this sense of what you want. Maybe it's more success, a deeper connection, just a bigger life. It's what gets us out of bed. But so often, it feels like we're the ones getting in our own way, stopping ourselves just shy of the finish line. So today, let's unpack the hidden architecture of self-sabotage.
I mean, really think about it for a second. That big project you were so excited about but never quite finished, or that job application you kept polishing but somehow never got around to sending. You get so close to what you say you want, and then you just pull back. Why on earth do we do that?
And man, that feeling is frustrating. It's this powerful sense of hesitation that's really good at disguising itself as logic, or maybe being realistic. You'll tell yourself, oh, I'm just not ready yet. Or, the timing isn't perfect. But deep down, you get the sense that it's something else. It feels like you're hitting an internal brake that you just can't seem to release.
So, what is this invisible force really? Is it some kind of character flaw, a lack of willpower? We're so quick to blame ourselves, but the answer is way more complex, and honestly, a lot more logical than you might think.
Let's just try to reframe this whole thing for a minute. What if that part of you that holds you back isn't actually trying to hurt you? What if it's trying to protect you, and it's just going about it in a really, really misguided way?
Yeah, look at this contrast, because it is absolutely crucial. What feels like laziness when you procrastinate? Well, that's actually your mind's attempt to protect you from potential failure. What feels like some deep personal failing is often just a learned pattern, a habit your brain picked up to keep you safe in a world that it decided was threatened.
And that brings us to a really clear definition. See, self-sabotage isn't a conscious choice to fail. It's an unconscious defense mechanism. Your brain would rather deal with the comfort of a familiar, even if it's an unhappy situation, than face the uncertainty of a new one. It's just trying to keep you safe in the known.
And this creates this incredibly predictable loop that just keeps us stuck. It all starts when some core fear gets triggered. Let's say it's the fear of being judged if you get that big promotion. So step 2, that leads directly to avoidance. You don't send the application. Step 3, you immediately feel this wave of short-term relief because, hey, the pressure's off. But the final result? Long-term stagnation. Nothing changes.
Okay, so to really understand that loop, we've got to look past the obvious stuff, like the fear of failure. There are much deeper, almost primal fears at play here that we almost never name, and that's where the real mechanism is hiding.
Now, this one sounds a little counterintuitive, but it is so powerful. We don't just fear failing. We actually fear succeeding. Because think about it, success brings pressure, it brings new responsibilities, higher expectations. There's a part of us that's whispering, what if I get there and I can't handle it? What if everyone's watching me now? So it's safer to just stay right where we are, where the stakes are lower.
And then there's this one, the fear of identity change. We unconsciously ask ourselves this question: who am I if this actually works out? Who am I if I'm not the struggling artist anymore, or the person who's always single, or the one who plays it safe? Success can threaten our very sense of self. And losing a familiar identity, even a negative one, can feel absolutely terrifying. Which leads right into this, the fear of being truly seen. If you succeed, you become more visible, and with visibility comes the potential for judgment, for criticism, for being exposed as a fraud or an imposter. It's that deep fear that if people look too closely, they'll find out you're not as good as they thought you were.
So all of these fears, the fear of success, of change, of being seen, they're all pointing to one central conflict. And this reveals that our resistance, our self-sabotage, it isn't really about the goals we set, it's about our identity. I mean, think about how it works. We often tie our entire sense of value to our current state of being. So when we face a real opportunity for growth, it can feel like a direct threat to who we believe we are right now. And your mind, in its desperate effort to protect that current self-concept, will choose the safety of the familiar identity over the uncertainty of a new one every single time.
And this right here, this is the single most important takeaway from all of this. Just let it sink in for a second. You are not sabotaging your goals. You are protecting your identity. The resistance you feel isn't about the promotion or the relationship or the project. It's about protecting the you that you know from the you that you might become.
Okay, so just understanding this mechanism, that's the first huge step. So now, how do we work with it? The goal isn't to fix yourself, because you're not broken. The goal is to just gently and consistently interrupt that unconscious pattern. So first, it's about bringing awareness into that moment of hesitation. When you feel yourself pulling back, just pause and ask yourself, okay, what fear is really at play here?
Second, focus on one small, manageable step. Don't try to make a giant leap. Just take the next logical action. And third, you have to let go of perfection. Progress is the goal, not a flawless performance. Mistakes are just data, they're not a disaster.
And really, underpinning all of these steps is a critical shift in your internal narrative. That voice inside that criticizes you, that predicts failure, that is a huge part of the self-sabotage loop. The real work is to consciously shift that voice from being a critic to being a supporter. You acknowledge the fear, but you don't let it have the final word.
So let's just end with this. This isn't about some massive life overhaul. It's about a single tiny shift. Based on what you now understand about your own protective patterns, what is the one small, imperfect step you can take today to move toward what you want instead of away from it?